根据美国劳工统计局的数据，美国雇主在11月雇佣了比预期更多的工人，但联邦的失业率数据没有发生变化。劳工部还发现，上个月的非农业就业岗位增加了26.3万个。
I got a sense of deja vu with today's report because it was very similar to what we saw in October. We saw payroll gains were actually stronger than expected, but on the flip side, we saw the unemployment rate stayed up off of its expansion lows, and the labor force participation rate actually fell again. So we are getting some mixed signals from the economy right now, where some indicators are looking positive and some are starting to weaken.
经济学家Daniel Zhao表示，虽然裁员和冻结招聘的信息层出不穷，但雇主仍然有聘请员工的打算。
We know that there are some headwinds facing the American economy, and there are concerns about a recession, especially in 2023. But the signals that we're getting from the job market, this doesn't look like a job market that is about to tip into recession. Overall, things still do look healthy there, even though things are clearly cooling. They are clearly decelerating. The job market is still a bright spot for the economy.
反观美国人口最多的加州，虽然非农业就业人数也有增加，但失业率上升，利率也在上涨，全州的经济增长整体放缓。报告显示，加州的失业率在10月上升至4%，比9月的3.8%增加了0.2%。
We have seen some reports of prominent layoffs in the tech industry, but at the same time, many of these companies are pulling back on expansion plans that they've had during the pandemic. So you have companies that hired very aggressively during the pandemic because they maybe misread some of these pandemic era trends as long-term sustainable changes, and now they just don't have the right size of their workforce for their business growth projections moving forward. And that the tech sector is actually a pretty small segment of the American economy. So we aren't actually seeing those tech layoffs show up in the aggregate economic numbers. Overall, the job market does still seem to be fairly healthy.
专家还说，零售、运输和仓储等行业也面临转变劳动力规模的需要。
Those sectors did actually lose jobs. And that's a little bit surprising as we headed into the holiday season. I think it indicates that businesses foresaw that consumers would be a little bit more conservative with their spending this holiday season, and so they weren't hiring quite as much as a result. Overall, the consumer spending numbers we've been seeing have been fairly healthy.
同时，在抵押贷款利率方面，加州在6月至12月期间出现了1.1%的增长。根据加州住房局数据，12月的贷款利率徘徊在5.75%左右。此前在6月，利率约为4.62%，而联邦层面也有类似的利率上升现象。
We did see wage growth tick up a little bit in November, and that might be a speed bump on the Fed's path towards a soft landing. Ultimately, what the Fed is watching for is to see inflation start to come down while the job market is still resilient and can withstand that tighter monetary policy.
专家预测，联邦可能会继续对当前利率采取升息并保持的策略，同时等待和观察通货膨胀减缓。反观加州，则面临通货膨胀结合经济停滞的情况，以及即将到来的2023财年的预算赤字。新唐人电视台加州记者站综合报道。